Hello to our parents and families joining us today. My name is Lexi McCarthy, and I serve as the Director of Parent and Family Relations at Westchester University. I've served in this role since the office's inception in 2019, and I've worked to improve and enhance the parent and family experience at Westchester ever since. This session is one in a series that we'll be doing throughout the summer to provide insight into the Westchester student experience from WCU experts and members of our RAM-FAM Advisory Council, who are parents and family members just like you. Today's session focuses on supporting students with disabilities at Westchester. First, I will ask my panelists to introduce themselves. I've also asked my panelists to share their favorite thing about Westchester. We'll start with Karen, then move to April, and then Sherry.
Hi, my name is Karen Hennigan. I have a rising sophomore son who is a mathematics and statistics major. Let's see, we're from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. And the thing I appreciate most about Westchester has been the supportive environment that my son has found there, especially with the professors and with DCAP.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm April Jackson. I'm the Director of the Office of Services for Students with Disabilities, or OSSD. My favorite thing about Westchester, I'm an avid reader, so I absolutely love the library. I'm a proud parent of a student with a disability, and I come from a military background, so I kind of say my hometown is everywhere USA. And I've been proudly a part of the RAM family since September 2019.
Thanks, April.
My name is Sherry Fishbaugh, and I'm the Director of Autism Services and run the DubC Autism Program, also known as DCAP on campus. I've been part of the university for actually 13 years. Prior to starting DCAP, I was an adjunct professor in the special education department. My best part, what I appreciate about WCU, I would say is probably the student initiatives brought to light, from Rams After Dark and Banana Day, those traditions, to the student-run businesses like Saxby's and the Ram Shop. I love being part of a university that provides ample opportunity for growth, success, and sustainability for all of its students.
Thank you, Sherry, and thank you all for introducing yourselves. Let's get started with some questions. First, a question for our campus experts. Can you both tell us a little bit more about your offices and how you partner with parents and families? Sherry, why don't you go first, and then we'll hear from April.
Sure. DCAP is a specific support program for matriculated WCU students on the autism spectrum. We began in 2016 with 4 students. We currently have 43 students in the program. We have had 14 graduates. 7 of those graduates were just in May of 2020. All students have left with job experience. 12 out of 14 of our students have current employment, and we have 13 females and 30 males in the program. We provide supports in 5 main areas that include executive functioning, socialization, self-advocacy, independence, and employment and/or career readiness. Supports are provided through individual meetings, group meetings, quiet hours that serve as study hours, as well as hangouts. A primary focus of DCAP is building independence, which encompasses the skills of communication and self-advocacy. Now, we understand that these are major skill areas of great difficulty for many of our students. Thus, we welcome communication from parents and families to keep us informed, but we also respect the student in FERPA. So we will coach your student in the importance of what and how to communicate back with family during their transition to college. Often students are requesting a meeting between them, their family, and myself to relay information. These are some of my proudest moments because it's a true demonstration of their growth. I know how difficult it is for families to make this transition. I spent over 15 years in IEP meetings. I get it, which is why we are here. So we encourage parents to follow us on social media. We are active on Facebook and Instagram. In addition, when you're at the Ram Shop picking up a snack or WCU apparel, please come on up. We encourage you to come up, say hi, hang out with us, and hang out with us at other events across campus.
Thanks, Sherry.
Again, this is April from the OSSD. Like my counterpart, Cherie, I want to share that the OSSD is open for matriculated students at Westchester University that have a wide range of disabilities. So that can include learning differences like ADD or processing disorder, through medical challenges like asthma and diabetes. We also want to be very clear that we're here to support students to be at their best and having equal access in the living learning environment that is Westchester University. So we also help support students providing and coordinating accommodations inside of the academic classrooms, laboratories, lab classes, internships, field experiences for educators and future educators, as well as in our residence halls. It's really important that students know that the OSSD is here to support you, and the easiest and quickest way to get in contact with us is we love for students to give us a call. They're welcome to email us, and if they're comfortable and available, they're always welcome to come by and say hello and greet us. We want to make sure that students know we're here from the first day all the way until you graduate. There's no expiration date on how often and how regularly we're here to support you. So that looks like accommodations for note-taking assistance. That can look like signing up for our mindfulness sessions with our academic coaches, which are our trained graduate students that have also know what it's like to be a West Chester University student. So they have a lot of really great tips and tricks, but they're specifically trained to partner with students with disabilities. So that includes one-on-one sessions every week, covering very important college transition success skills, like how to take notes, how to prepare for an exam. Also, how can you communicate and talk with your professors around your accommodations? Our OSSD also is here to issue what's called letters of accommodation. So I know a lot of students are kind of used to having their parents, their families, or their educators from high school, but we're really excited to walk with you and help support you as you learn how to have those conversations with your professors. Our professors are really excited to hear from our students with disabilities. So we always like to encourage students to know that they're very patient as well in discussing things like utilizing smart pens, having recording devices, understanding how to schedule their classes, and also scheduling their interpreters if they're needed, having captioning and transcription available for our students with disabilities. All the way through, if you need to talk to our assistive technology coordinator on really neat software that we have for speech to text and text to speech. We have our proctoring center that's available for our students that need a little bit more of a distraction-reduced testing environment. So overall, the OSSD has a wide range of accommodations and supports and resources available to help our students with disabilities. Currently, we have about 948 really great scholars a part of our program, and I want to make sure students know we have students all the way from their first year in college all the way to getting their doctorate degree. So we have a lot of really great diversity within the OSSD. We have really fun opportunities throughout the year for students to connect with each other, having hangouts on Zoom, as well as coordinating other ways for students to make friends, get to know each other, and also make really great networks so they can have the most robust experience as they can at West Chester University. One of the really great ways, our office works very hard to be available for parents, families, and students. So we encourage students to use email. We also have an additional text line. So for all of our tech-savvy students and families, they're welcome to text us as well. And I will say this, if there's one thing I would love for everyone to take away about the OSSD, we believe in you, we support you, and we want you to be successful here at West Chester. If parents and families want to reach out with us, we want to be mindful and respectful of FERPA. So we encourage parents to check out our website. We've got a really great page just for parents and families on how to support their students to take the next step. If there's questions, we're available as well. And parents, don't be afraid to text us. Overall, I hope and look forward to seeing all of your great faces as we get ready to get started for this next upcoming term.
Thanks, April. That was great. Karen, we have a few questions for you now. What has your experience been like supporting your student at West Chester?
Actually, overall, it's been great. It was a whole new world at first because, like April was saying, we were used to doing a lot of things for our student before he came to college. He now does a lot of things himself. Like he's able to go to OSSD and get his own accommodations, and they've been very helpful. And at DCAP, he's done the Hangouts and the other things that they have him do for weekly meetings. And a lot of the scheduling and things he now handles himself. At the beginning of school, we'd get 9 phone calls a day asking us lots and lots of questions of what do I do about this? What do I do about that? Probably after the first month or so, we don't hear from him much at all unless we call him. So it's actually been great to see him blossom in his independence at West Chester. And I guess learning to trust himself and how to find accommodations.
That's wonderful, thanks. Other than OSSD, what resources has your student used to support their success?
Let's see, he's used a lot of the resources through DCAP, which Sherry talked about. the weekly meetings, the support staff that talks with him and helps him with any questions that he has. And he's had a lot of support from his professors. He asks a ton of questions, and they've been very patient with him because that's the way he learns. He learns through asking things once he's gone through his work. So I think I'd have to say the best thing about Westchester and the support they provide is just how they do it on an individual basis, and how they're very good about listening to the student and finding out what they need and providing it as they're able.
Thanks so much, Karen.
Sure.
So we have another question for our campus professionals. How can parents and families best support their students with disabilities at Westchester? April, will you please start, and then we'll go to Sherry?
Sure. One of my best recommendations for parents, and again, this is coming from a parent of a child with a disability as well, I recommend, taking some time and just having like a very informal conversation with your student, asking them, what is something that's really important to them as far as their transition into Westchester University. If your student says, I'm not even sure what my IEP says, I've never ever actually really read it, that would be a really great place to start. I also encourage parents and families to ask their student, do they have questions as far as, well, how would I get around on campus? What's the contact information if I need help pertaining to my accommodations, or if I encounter a challenge, where's the first person that I reach out to, or the first department I could reach out to? So I think having really good conversation would be a really, really important place to start. Review that IEP or go over that documentation from the doctor's office, helping the student understand. We found that a lot of students may not even really understand their documentation, and our office is available to help support in that way as well. But as a family getting ready, don't forget you're going off to college, get excited, go buy a lot of swag and t-shirts and pom-poms and get excited about this great accomplishment. So don't let the apprehension, the scariness of your student learning. We love to help students learn. So as a parent, feel free to enjoy this time with your student and get excited, but also know that we're patient. We know they're going to make mistakes. They're going to ask questions. We look forward to it. We want them to ask questions, and we want them to reach out to us.
That was great. Thanks, April.
And I have to say, I very much so second everything that April just said. Make sure that they're aware of the many resources and supports that we have available on campus, from OSSD to DCAP to the LARC, which is the tutoring center, the writing center. We are all here to help your student be successful on campus. Also to encourage your students to access these resources, reassure them that many students are accessing these resources so they are not alone. Understand that your student is a young adult and that they're going to make their decisions, that transitioning to college is hard for anyone, and understanding that everybody's going through that transition. So be understanding, listen, and it's okay, as April had said, if they slip up, be there to help them get their footing, and recognize that we're all there to help them. It's all part of the learning process, that they're all students making a huge transition, not only into college, but into young adulthood, and they're not there alone.
Thanks, Sherry. So my final questions for everyone. What's your parting piece of advice for incoming families with students with disabilities? We'll start with Karen, then we'll go to April, and we'll finish with Sherry.
I definitely agree with April's idea of doing the list of what are you concerned about? What are your concerns with school? We did that with our son before he went to school, and it really helped a lot, because we also did say, okay, well, you're going to go to this department for this problem. You need to go to this department for this problem. We also took him to campus many times to look around, find his classes, learn the layout, so he felt comfortable when he got there. That's one less thing to be concerned about. And then I guess the last piece of advice would be just trust your student to become independent and to interface with the people in school to get what they need. They're very patient, and it's a great experience all the way around.
I would say my parting piece of advice is very similar to Karen. We have a staff that is warm and friendly and understands and is very patient. We actually get excited about the student that comes by or calls or emails us with as many questions they have, because that just shows they're engaged. So my parting piece of advice would be to embrace the process, embrace the learning, be excited. Your student is entering young adulthood, this is a huge rite of passage for them, and that it is going to be okay. There's nothing that they can do that they can't undo it. And definitely take advantage of any online webinars, web tutorials, videos. If there's any social media groups that they want to follow or join to get to know other students that are incoming and making those connections prior to their arrival. And also don't be afraid to introduce yourself to faculty or to the other campus resources available. We love it when students reach out to us as well to say hi.
And I have to actually second, again, everything that April and Karen have said. This exciting time for your students to experience college, getting them to spread their wings, transitioning into young adulthood and this new level of independence, taking the time to get involved on campus. We have over 300 and something organizations, so there's going to be something of their interest, whether they are coming to DCAP, they're getting involved in other organizations. Just really embrace it, let them experience it, and as a family, enjoy this opportunity and this time for you and your student.
Great, thank you all. That was tremendously helpful, and I know it will be helpful for our families. As we conclude, I want to thank you again for watching. Thank you to our panelists for their time, their wisdom, their insight. The resources represented here are just a small sampling of what we offer to serve you and your students at Westchester. If you have any additional questions or concerns, please feel free to connect with Parent and Family Relations via email at parentfamilyrelations@wcupa.edu. You will also find the contact information for all the offices featured on this session on the slide that follows. We welcome and encourage your engagement, partnership, and Ram pride. Rams up, everyone.